Hello guys, I'm back here to show you an update of all the things that I've added or changed in the build since the last update. Let's start with the endurance charges. You can clearly see I have here. I have 5 of them and they are permanent. As you can see, they drop down a couple seconds and then they get recharged. So how am I getting these? These are thanks to the new grafts they added in this league, specifically thanks to the hardening wool graft. As you can see, this one has an ability called Tender Embrace, which gives us an endurance charge while we are on low life. And this one actually has a modifier that gives us 1 extra endurance charge from the skill. And as you may know, in our build, we are always on low life. So around each 3 seconds, this Ulgraft is gonna give us 2 endurance charges, which means that we're always gonna be stacking them permanently. And I have 5 because I grabbed this node here, which gives us 1 more endurance charge, and I anointed my Astromantis with Vigor, which is this node right here, which gives us 1 more endurance charge. And this gives us a total of 5 permanent endurance charges, which is really good for our defenses, since each endurance charge gives us 4% physical and elemental reduction. So that's a 20% both physical and elemental damage reduction, which is absolutely crazy since we've only invested 2 points and this is giving us the rest. I also have this other graft, which is not the craziest thing, but it's really nice for our damage. What it does is that once we crit, it gives us a stack of Jolt. Jolt increases our maximum damage. And since we're going lightning, our maximum damage is really high, because one thing that lightning damage has is that it has really low minimum damage and really high maximum damage. So this is really good because it increases even more that maximum damage. The downside is that we take extra damage, which is kind of mitigated with this. We're actually really tanky with this. It's really good. So that's it for the grafts. And there's also an even better thing that I grabbed, which is new in this league. And it is that, as you can see, we have 3 ascendancies here. This, and this. But I actually have a 4th one right here, which is this one from the Pharaoh's bloodline. This is one of the new ascendancies that they added in this league, and this is an absolute game changer for this build. If you've played this, you might know that this ascendancy is the one that we usually pick as our 4th ascendancy, and it's not really good. It's barely noticeable, and it's just a slight buff to our character. But this is really good. What it does is that every time we crit, we summon a spectral tiger, and what these tigers do is they buff our base stats by a lot. We can have up to 5 tigers, and each one of them gives us 25% increased critical chance and 7% attack and cast speed, which means that if we have 5 tigers summoned, we have 125% increased critical chance and 28% attack speed, just from having these tigers on. And we have them all the time since we're always critting. So I'm gonna show you a little bit how that works in a map. So here's a pack of enemies. We're gonna start hitting them, and as you can see, we're gonna start summoning wolves once we start hitting them. There we have 2. Let's see. 4 and 5. As you can see, we have wolves here. They're attacking our enemies. We have 5. And our attack speed has gone up to 2.35, which is a lot of attack speed just from having this. Also, these wolves last a long time. I haven't really summoned any new wolves, and they're still going around. They do disappear after a while, but since we're always critting, they're not gonna disappear ever as long as you're mapping. So, to get this ascendancy, first, you have to buy a Pharic Tiger Alpha from the website. After buying it, go to the place where this guy is keeping all the beasts, go to the blood altar, and use this tiger. It will spawn portals to fight Pharaoh. So once there, just kill the guy, and a thing is gonna appear that will let you select the ascendancy. Also, on the topic of attack speed and all that stuff, as you can see, I have dropped Purity of Elements for Haste, and I still have pretty good resistances. As you can see, I have 75% fire, 80 and 80 for cold and lightning. And I'm achieving that thanks to these flasks here. I used to have a bismuth flask here and an onslaught flask here, but I changed them for dedicated resistant flasks. Also, my jewels give me elemental resistances, and this also helps a lot with capping them. And now we are not dependent on purity of elements, which means we can grab haste, and this is absolutely amazing. Just with haste, right now I don't have my wolves, but just with haste, I'm actually really fast. I can just move around the map with shield charge, and just I have a decent amount of movement speed, and my attack speed is kinda good too. And all of this gets absolutely upgraded with the wolves. My next goal when it comes to attack speed and movement speed is getting a new timeless jewel that gives me onslaught on kill. These are probably really expensive, but once we get them, that's gonna be crazy because we're always gonna be having onslaught on top of the wolves and on top of haste. And what I'm doing right now to get that money is farming harbingers. I'm gonna show you my atlas, which is here. It's not a lot, it's not that crazy. I'm just grabbing harbinger nodes, a bit of beyond, a bit of scarabs, and the rest for explicit modifiers in our maps, just to buff a little bit everything. And that's it basically. I'm gonna go into more detail probably in a dedicated video for harbingers. Just so you know, this is what I'm farming, and it's been kind of profitable. Something else is getting this. Once I start leveling up, right now, as you can see, I'm level 93. So if I get a couple more levels, I might grab this jewel socket and get a cluster jewel with, I can't remember the name, but these special jewels that give you stats based on how far they are from the starting point, which is this for us. I'll see if I change the pathing to get even more distance from here to the jewels. But yeah, that's a bit of a goal for level, I don't know, like 97 maybe. So I still have a bunch of levels to go through. But once we get those things, this build is going to be able to destroy any type of content in the game. Right now, we're actually doing T16s very juiced, and we basically never die. We just destroy everything. But yeah, sometimes we do get bursted down by enemies with a lot of modifiers. But once we get all of that, it's gonna be crazy. So these have been the main upgrades I've done. Endurance charges from the Graft, the new Ascendancy, this one here with the Tigers, and the swap to Haste. So I'm gonna show you a little bit of gameplay of how the build looks now with all these upgrades. And if you've liked it and you wanna keep seeing the updates, seeing the progress of this build, subscribe and also leave a comment, like, and all that stuff. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.